Hey everyone, Joseph Onesta, Type 2 mentor here. And today I'd like to talk about hunger. How often does the thought come through your mind, I'm hungry? My, I'll be honest with you, hunger is one of those amazing, and it's hormonal. It's one of those amazing things that just makes me marvel. There are lots of reasons why we might feel hungry. And, if we're going to handle hunger, we chalk it all up to willpower, but it has nothing to do with willpower, really. It's the way we think about it and the way that we understand hunger that is critical. So, first of all, in English, we say, I am hungry. There's a little bit too much identification with the feeling. It's like, oh no, I'm hungry. But, how about, gee, I just feel hunger. I just felt hunger. There was a hunger pang, and I remember, first of all, very few. It is almost never a need for energy. And I'm going to be honest with you, quite frankly, if you're overweight, you have excess energy. That's what fat is. It's stored energy. So when I first started, I was getting my diabetes under control, and I first started intermittent fasting. My husband would say to me, "You're starving yourself." And I would take the gelatinous belly of a 300-pound man at the time, and I would shake it at him. And I would say, I'm not starving. I could make it through a famine. And, he wasn't being very supportive at the time. But legitimately, he did think I was starving myself. But the point is, I didn't need to eat. I'm going to say a few things that you might get mad at. First, if you've ever had a hunger headache, I doubt it. Chances are that headache was more dehydration than hunger. Very often, in fact, when we think we feel hunger, we're actually quite thirsty. And now these days, everybody walks around with these plastic bottles of water, not the best container for something you're putting in your body, BTW. But, in fact, if you do that, get yourself a stainless steel water jug and drink purified water. Forget that plastic bottled water stuff. I have it in my office. I'm not going to lie to you. I have plastic bottled water in my office for my clients who come in and who need water. There's no other way for me to keep it here. But you want to limit that. All right, so let's talk about the difference between being hungry and feeling hunger is quite obvious, right? I'm not hungry. In fact, if I'm overweight at all, hunger isn't something that, it's not about energy. We've established that. It happens though, we still feel hungry. And how do we handle it? I want to handle hunger. I want to control hunger. I don't want hunger to control me. Let's start by learning about the different kinds of things that could make us feel hungry. And they're not real. The feelings are real. That's because something triggered us hormonally that made us feel that. The first and most obvious is the clock. If you're used to eating at 7:30 in the morning, you will be hungry at 7:30 in the morning. And to not eat at 7:30 in the morning, your mind might drift off to, I need to eat, I need to eat, I need to eat. And so when I first started intermittent fasting, and one of the easiest ways. Now we call it time restricted eating. I never liked the word intermittent fasting, because if you do it every day, there's nothing intermittent about it. But that idea that every day at this time I'm feeling hunger. All right, no problem. But I know why I'm feeling it, because I'm used to eating at this time. And if I stopped and just took a moment and examined my body, just sort of mentally scan my body, I wasn't really hungry. Later, it just goes away. It's not there. You change that schedule, you change that habit, and it goes away. There is another kind of hunger that is sort of associated with that, and that's the grazing hunger. People who have candy on their desk, or, their snacks just sort of always within reach, and they are mindlessly eating and they're grazing. Well, if that grazing stops, they feel hungry. They feel hunger. If it's not available, they're looking for something to eat. So grazing hunger, and then that sort of, they're very closely related. And then that sort of clock hunger is part of it's part of life. They do change, by the way. You can change that. So there's another kind of hunger. So we've got two so far. We've got clock hunger and we've got grazing hunger. There's another kind of hunger that I call carbohydrate hunger. One of the things that we know about carbohydrates, for example, is that they immediately spike your blood sugar. Your blood sugar goes up. And then if your pancreas is working, you kick in with a big dose of insulin. And as that blood sugar starts to come down because of the insulin, all of a sudden you feel hungry. So carbohydrate hunger, that's the immediate sort of, there used to be a commercial, oh, eat this candy bar at 3:00 in the afternoon. And if you eat this bar at 3:00 in the afternoon, that'll get you to 5. Usually it got you to 3:10. You'd be back at the candy machine buying another, and that's exactly what they wanted, buying another because the blood sugar started to come down. There's also this notion that your body has an idea of what your blood sugar, your normal blood sugar is. And if you drop below that normal blood sugar, your body may well trigger feelings of hunger. And that number of normal blood sugar has nothing to do with what your doctor says is normal. I've had clients who actually experienced symptoms of hypoglycemia, that is low blood sugar, when, if they tested their blood, they discovered they weren't hypoglycemic at all. It was quite high. In fact, it was very high. And so when you're used to having those high blood glucose numbers and you start bringing them down, you got to battle a little bit of those feelings of hunger. But when you realize why they're there, amazing. It's there because my blood sugar is coming down. That's a good thing. I can test my blood to see if I'm hypoglycemic. In fact, you should. So that's another one. There's the spiky, the carbohydrate hunger, and then there is the dropping blood sugar feeling of hunger. There's another one that I call nutritional hunger. And no, you know what? You're not a cow. I used to watch this homesteader on television, and he would have this tray of little minerals, vitamins and minerals for the cows, and they would be in separate, and somehow the cows knew which ones they needed, and the cows would lick these. I'm not a homesteader. I don't know. But I was amazed by that. And I've heard people say, oh, I'm craving bananas. I must need potassium, or, I must need vitamin C because I'm craving oranges. Well, when you're craving, a candy bar, what is it exactly that you need? We're not talking, you're not a cow. Somebody might call you a cow, and say, oh, you cow, but that's just not a nice thing to say. And you're not a cow. When there is, however, a thing that might be called nutritional hunger. That is, you are undernourished. And this is one of the reasons why all of those snack foods cause you to be hungry again and again and again right away. They never satisfy. Things, very high carbohydrate things like chocolate and like potato chips and things like that. What it is you're not getting nutrition. In fact, I've heard dietitians say many people are overfed and undernourished. And doesn't necessarily mean that they eat a lot, that they overeat, like they'll sit down to an entire chicken and consume it with 10 pounds of mashed potatoes and gravy and 5 ears of corn. That would be overeating, obviously. But it's not that. It's that they're overfed. They're eating things that don't nourish their bodies. And if your body does notice the lack of some kind of nutrition, it might make you genuinely hungry, generally hungry, feel hunger, hoping that you'll eat the right thing. So the question is, if I'm going to deal with hunger, if I'm going to handle my hunger, then what is it that I really need to know? The tricks of scanning your body. Take a moment. I'm going to teach you something here. It's not really hypnosis, but just take a moment and close your eyes. And let your eyes, just like a scanner, just let your thoughts go from the top of your head all the way to the bottoms of your feet, and decide what it is that you're feeling at the moment. Am I feeling warm? Am I feeling cold? Am I feeling hungry, or am I feeling satisfied? Am I feeling nervous, or am I feeling calm? Just schedule that. Just scan, going down, going down. And I want you to know this habit is so wonderful. Going down, going down, going down. When you get to that part of your stomach, where your stomach is. And by the way, your stomach is a lot higher than you think it is. It's actually under your rib cage on the left side of your body. It's actually right there, actually. It's not the big belly. Oh, my belly. By the way, speaking of bellies, when you hear that gurgling sound, it doesn't mean you're hungry. It just means that what you already ate is still inside, moving through your intestines, making that noise. Oh, I must need to eat. No, 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 no. Now, I'm not telling you to starve yourself like my husband accused me of doing, and I'm not telling you to go for days and weeks without eating. We don't want to do that either. But just remember that a lot of times, that hunger headache, for example, isn't hunger, it's dehydration. You need water. And very often when we're feeling hungry, we're not hungry at all. Maybe we're feeling a little, maybe we're an anxiety eater, a stress eater. Maybe we're a bored eater. Maybe we're a habitual snacker. All of these things, and none of that hunger is really indicating that your body needs anything. Did I make you mad? I hope I made you happy, because 99 times out of 100, even, those feelings of hunger are just the stimulus of something that creates a hormone in our body that triggers hunger. That's all it is. And the longer you go without eating, by the way, that sort of shuts off. I've I've done some long-term fasting, and we'll talk about that more in another video, but I will tell you that it goes away. That when you don't eat, hunger goes away. That's amazing. Really, it's more like you get that feeling of hunger, and then you're self-hypnotizing. Oh, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. What can I eat? I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And the more, every time you tell yourself you're hungry, you're stimulating that part of your brain that is creating, that is triggering that hormone, and you're going to get hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. There's the hypnotist in me. So let's handle hunger in a sane way. In a sane way. I can't go into all the details even more now, but I want you to know Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor here. If you have any questions with me, feel free to respond or to use my website to get in touch with me. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and we can move from there. Again, Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor. Great. And may your days be whole.